welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, July 15th, 2019. I am Vesta Bowens with the details. Dean of the Division of Technical and Vocational Education, Osborne Bowens, said persons should desist from bashing the youth and instead encourage them to upgrade their competencies and skills. Bowens was speaking at the recent opening ceremony for the Employability Skills Training Program at the SVG Community College campus.
And I say this very often, there's a lot that has been said about the young people, but until you begin to put the investment behind the young people, I do not think that you have the moral authority to speak about them and what they are. Back them, defend them, and when they fail you, speak about it. I subscribe to that particular view. And I learned a long time ago, changing attitudes come when there are alternatives.
Bowens reported that his division received more than 400 applications for the Employability Skills Training Program for the July-August period, and of that figure, 92 were selected.
Persons could find viable employment in having successfully completed the program. For example, I'll just give you one example of the in the area of motor vehicle maintenance. On our roads in St. Vincent and Grenadines, we have more than 35,000 vehicles. And in the motor vehicle training area, you will be looking at or getting some competencies in maintenance of specifically air conditioning on motor vehicles. Now imagine yourself as a young trained individual and having learned the skill and being able to properly develop the skill, and you were able to maintain just a couple air conditioned units on vehicles for 1 week, 2 weeks. I'm saying that you can make yourself a productive individual and you can provide for yourself and your family, and St. Vincent and Grenadines could be a better place.
Bowens further shared the view that persons, particularly the youth, should not be state dependent, rather they should strive to become more independent and own their own businesses.
Would either have to depend and continue to depend on the state to provide for you social and other services. Now, when they continue to do that, then those people who are who are taxed continue to pay more to support you. More people that we can bring into production and productivity within St. Vincent and Grenadines, less that we have to expend in supporting you. And I'm sure that every young person would prefer to support themselves and be independent and allow themselves to support family and be more productive. No one wants to depend perennially on the state to continue to take care of them.
Teachers are charged with the responsibility of educating the nation's youth, and the SVG Teachers Union is once again partnering with the Ministry of Education and the Canadian Teachers Federation to host this year's Summer Institute Training Workshop. The Summer Institute Training is held every year and allows for local teachers to increase their knowledge and sharpen their teaching skills. Delivering remarks at the opening ceremony at the SVG Community College Division of Technical and Vocational Education today was President of the SVG Teachers Union, Wendy Bino, who said all children have the right to a quality education. She said the Summer Institute training goes a long way in building the teachers' capacity to deliver quality education.
All children and young people have the right to young education, and we must meet this obligation by providing nothing less than a quality education with quality educators to ensure that all our children are prepared to become productive and independent citizens. Our intention is to provide you with the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop a learning environment that respects the learning capacity of all students and meets students where they are in order to guide them to greater academic achievements. We must work to ensure that all our schools can easily cater to the identities, languages, abilities, and talents of our students. We must recognize and affirm an inclusive environment where the learning needs of students are addressed. As stewards of our education system, we must ensure that we provide an opportunity for all our students to gain an education that will serve them in the overall development. Let us make it a personal creed. Inclusion begins with me.
Also giving remarks at the ceremony was team leader of the Canadian Teachers Federation, Sarah Robinson, who said they look forward to the training. She said her colleagues have experience in different fields and considers the Summer Institute training as a model of investing in education.
Ms. Sarah Robinson, I'm a second language elementary school teacher from Ontario, a member of the Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association. My experience in providing students with authentic tasks provides me with a context for co-delivering workshops in project-based learning. We as teachers model reading, writing, and arithmetic for our students. This Summer Institute itself is a model for students of investing in one's education. By participating in this professional development, we have not only shown the commitment to our profession, but also to our students. I look around the room and I see a dedicated group of teachers. You are all here because you want to exchange ideas with others in different schools, others at different levels, others from your own country, and others from Canada. Project Overseas is a model for what happens when we invest in education. The Canadian team values this collaboration with you, as we will bring back ideas to fill our suitcases.
Minister of Education St. Clair Prince, who also spoke at the opening ceremony, said it is important for educators to embrace the advantages of technology and encouraged the participants to use the knowledge gained to assist in the classroom and share with their colleagues.
Your colleagues, that this new thrust that we have in the Ministry of Education with respect to people who are disadvantaged, that you'll train yourselves to treat with them and to respond to their needs. Workshops such as this one should help to prepare our teachers to harness the passion, the creativity, and the dynamism of our teaching force so that they can make meaningful changes in the classroom to prepare our future generation well. We have to strive to make learning fun and nurturing and move away from the chalk and talk and rote learning methods that are stifling the creative energies of the 21st century learners. These learners are often more willing to engage the teachers and to embrace the technologies. Teachers, you too have to work with the technology in the classrooms to deliver more exciting lessons and better education outcomes. I know there's a phobia for the technology throughout the Caribbean. Even though we have very young teachers in the system, we still have not been able to approach a point where technology is in the classroom in the way we would want it. Maybe I'm pushing this too far, maybe we expect too much too quickly, but I think it is important. This is the 21st century and we have to get with the program.
Teaching visually impaired students in mainstream classrooms is expected to be made easier for teachers who are participating in a 5-day workshop which commenced today at the St. Joseph's Convent, Kingstown. The training workshop with overseas facilitators is being hosted by the Ministry of Education, the Voice of the Disabled organization, and the International Council for the Education of People with Visual Impairments. Larissa Puggs-the-Kid tells us more in this report.
Teachers participating in the 5-day workshop are drawn from primary and secondary schools as well as from the School for Children with Special Needs and the Early Childhood Department. The workshop is the first of its kind and has been deemed a timely initiative by Ministry of Education Representative Aberdeen Roberts, who says visually impaired students should not be treated differently from students who are sighted. While noting that it may be challenging, Roberts says it is necessary for the overall development of a visually impaired child.
First, the child gets used to the independent education systems he or she will face in the future. Research shows that it strongly enhances social integration as it dispels the negative attitude and misconceptions that children and others have of the blind and low vision persons.
The Ministry of Mobilization and Persons with Disability is also involved in the hosting of the workshop. Its Permanent Secretary, Narissa Giddens-McMillan, says disabled persons should not be kept indoors as is customary.
There is always something that you can learn. And for those of us who don't know, here is an opportunity as caregivers for us to learn to be more caring. Looking out for the disabled is a right, so that when the Ministry of Education says we are now incorporating them into the normal school system, it is a right.
The facilitators for the workshop are from Canada, the United States, and Jamaica. According to the Deputy Chair of the International Council for the Education of People with Visual Impairment, Dr. Celine Giles, the workshop was more than 1 year in the making, and it all started with one parent from SVG who has a child who is visually impaired.
Our collaboration started with the dedicated effort of a mother who determined that the needs of her visually impaired toddler could only be met with her all-out effort of seeking and finding support wherever she could. This, the first of what we hope will be a continued collaboration in teacher support.
Meanwhile, the Voice of the Disabled organization in SVG is pleased that their efforts in helping the disabled are being recognized.
I am overwhelmed and I am also overjoyed. It has been my aim, my desire, to see our special needs children, our visually impaired children be given more opportunities when it comes to their education.
The workshop concludes on Friday. Reporting for SVG-TV News, Larissa Pugsley, Kidd.
The Modern Medical and Diagnostics Center at Georgetown observed its first day of operation over the weekend with a special ceremony where success stories were shared with health officials, staff, and Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Reporting on the services offered for the past year, Minister of Health Luke Brown said that more than 5,000 x-rays and ultrasounds were carried out along with several successful surgeries and treatment.
Past year has conducted 1,000 plus specialized clinics, attended to an average of 700 patients per month, done more than 300 operations, offered chemotherapy services with good results. We thank God for this facility. We thank God for the contribution that it is making to the transformation of healthcare in this country. We thank God again for the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves for making sure that this was built and open for the benefit of the public of this country.
Reflecting on the startup of the facility, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves thanked the Cuban government for its contributions and said that Vincentians can expect more from the services provided at the Diagnostics Center.
We're going to see extension of the services in gynecology. I'm told that we are going to see the bilateral tubal ligation surgical procedures. We're going to do them at least once a month, and hopefully we will step up on an outpatient clinic. The internal medicine, we're going to have a specialist outpatient clinic, and the management of the smart hospital alongside the general surgeon. Luke, we're going to do this physiotherapy services because we have the equipment already on site.
Dialysis is one of the advanced services offered at the facility, and according to the Prime Minister, it has been getting positive reviews. Meanwhile, some of the staff members of the Diagnostics Center said serving the people is an honor.
Reaching out to people more with love and always carry a smile at all times. So far, I was assigned to work in two of the departments, oncology and laboratory, which give me the opportunity to meet wonderful people. Dr. Taylor, Sister Lane, Miss.
My experience for 1 year working at the oncology department, where there were moments of joy, laughter, a bit of sadness because we would have gained friends with our patients and we would have lost friends. We would have lost some patients. So we can truly say that it was a roller coaster, but we made it. And we did our best to make sure that the patients were comfortable giving them service, excellent service.
The Georgetown Modern Medical Center was opened on July 2nd, 2018. Taiwan's President, Her Excellency Tsai Ing-wen, will pay a 2-day state visit to SVG from tomorrow. The Taiwan's President visit to SVG is part of a Caribbean region tour, which has been deemed as President Tsai Ing-wen's journey of freedom, democracy, sustainability, which includes visits to Haiti, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Lucia. President Tsai's tour of the region is aimed at further strengthening cooperation, exchanges and friendship between Taiwan and its 4 Caribbean allies. President Tsai's delegation will comprise high-level government officials as well as legislators and business representatives from Taiwan. The trip is her first to the region as head of state and 7th abroad since assuming office in May 2016. The president will be involved in a packed program of activities upon her arrival in the state around 10 a.m. A welcome ceremony will be held at the Argyle International Airport, where members of the RSVG Police Force Band will salute the president. She will then call on the Prime Minister at his office, followed by an agreement signing at Cabinet Room. The president will immediately after host a luncheon and talks with representatives of the Taiwan MOFA alumni and the 2019 Taiwan Scholarship recipients. Other activities for the day will include a special sitting of Parliament, a tour of the botanical gardens and tree planting exercise, a visit to an exhibition at the National Library hosted as part of Taiwan's Week, a handing over ceremony of police vehicles, a cultural program of a Taiwanese Formosa circus at the Victoria Park, and a welcome reception at the Prime Minister's residence. The Taiwan President and her delegation will leave this state on Wednesday. After a period of quiet, this country on Sunday recorded its 4th murder for the year in Malo village in the Sion Hill area. A police report states that Clint Boucher, formerly Clint Miller, was stabbed multiple times about his body. It is alleged that the act was committed by his son, Clinton Cambridge, who is in police custody assisting with the investigation. Our news team caught up with the deceased's mother, Lenore Miller, who said while she did not see what transpired at her home, she described what she saw upon discovering her son's lifeless body.
I see the incident. I was in my bed and I heard this big commotion, and I got up and I opened the window and I saw my son have him, pulling him up to come up the steps and bawling out, "Somebody come help, the man bleeding out to death, help." So I call and I say, "What happened? What happened?" And he did not answer, so I start calling, "Clint, Clint," but Clint the limb like this, and he was moving. And I was scared to go out because the boy kind of crazy. And he running up and down. And then afterwards I came out and I went down the road to see if I could get somebody to come with me to see what's going on with Clint. But nobody would not come out because I think everybody's scared of this young man. So I called the police and they keep asking me a set of questions, but I was so traumatized. I don't know. I just couldn't talk and answer them the way how they want me to answer.
Miller said while her son did not have a steady job, he was a hard-working and given person, and she will miss him very much.
He have his things. He's a person he love to give. You will be here and you will hear, but 3-4 person come calling, "Clint, Clint, Clint," when you look out. "What you want? Clint there?" I said, "I don't know, I didn't see him." Then you hear somebody come calling again, "Clint there, Clint is home. Could you lend me such and such?" They come in and they're borrowing tools. You know, he always lending out his tools and so. And sometimes they bring them back. He called back up to his brother to send back something. That is how he was. He was a giving person. He used to give. When I walking in the street with him, you hear the people calling out, "Clint, Clint, run something." I say, "How come they always asking you to run something? Does they give you when you don't have?" "Mommy, I can't stop. I will always have to give." That is what he said to me.
16 members of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force are today celebrating 25 years of service. The officers are celebrating this important milestone in their career under the theme, 25 years of service, forging ahead with persistence, transforming the organization for all. As part of the celebratory activities, the officers attended a church service at the Hope for Life Restoration Ministries in Annesville on Sunday, July 14, 2019, to offer up thanks to God for His favor and mercies on their lives throughout their careers. Commissioner of Police Colin John was also in attendance at the church service. Today, officers participate in a social event at the Prestige restaurant to celebrate the occasion. Climate change and marketing continues to be two issues affecting the agricultural sector, and the Ministry of Agriculture is examining ways to develop a framework to allow local producers greater access to export markets. So says Minister Sabota Caesar as he spoke at a news briefing detailing the benefits this country can derive from the OECS Competitiveness Initiative, also known as the Agricole Project. Caesar said a diversification production platform has been underway for about a decade, which allowed for the production of a variety of produce. He said at the end of the Agricole Project, it is hoped that farmers and producers can reap greater rewards for their hard work.
What we are seeking to obtain is a diversified production platform with unique structures where we have the entire value chain studied, we have producers aggregated, we have markets which are organized, and where issues of the barriers to entry are properly addressed, and means and modalities of ensuring that farmers and producer groups that they receive the best possible profits that they can within the circumstances.
The Agriculture Minister said in the area of fisheries, the sector continues to show growth due to the greater airlift provided by the Argyle International Airport and the steady increases in fish landings. Minister Caesar said it is hoped that the Agricole Project will eventually lead to the creation of linkages between local fisherfolk and international marketers.
Of course, we have to give significant credit to the infrastructure in the form of the Argyle International Airport, which basically has created an excellent platform to link our fisher folk here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to international markets. We expect to see delivered by this project the aggregation of a cadre of persons within the fishing community being linked to marketers and markets, and possibly even the evolution of some of our cooperatives within the fishing communities growing to the levels where they themselves can make the international connection as it touches and concerns marketing.
One of the requirements of the Agricole Project is for farmers to show consistency in terms of quality, quantity, and timeliness with their produce. Business consultant Michael C. Prasad said meeting such requirements are necessary to access international markets.
It's concern. But even agriculture, if you want to expand your markets, and we'll encourage our productive alliances to think beyond St. Vincent. The St. Vincent market is too small, so we want ideas that are scalable, that can grow as the market grows. Again, as you grow best agriculture fisheries, you have to be prepared to invest in certification to international standards. So what I'm saying to conclude is that if you want to improve market access and competitiveness, doing a business plan is just one element of it. There are other elements that are important, and these include certifying to standards and quality to ensure that you produce consistent quality. In fact, one of the underlying criteria of this project is that the farmers must show consistent quality and quantity and timeliness of delivery. Now, if they can do that, those are 3 critical elements that is going to improve their competitiveness. And if this project can get them to do that, that'll be a good step, a step in the right direction.